This week, it's our annual Year in Review edition of the program.
I, Eric Robert Grace.
I'm not going to be a part of making America ache again.
The problem, a soaring murder rate.
My one goal is to get Kansas City off the 10 most violent crime list.
Stay with us as we look back at the biggest issues of the year.
We turn now to a developing headline coming in from Kansas City.
The FBI is at the scene of Austin's Bar and Grill. The deadly flash flood emergency, trapping families in their homes. Parts of the Kansas City metro area getting up to 10 inches of torrential rain.
It's a disaster. We have undertrained, understaffed, underpaid, overworked guards.
This is truly a generational choice.
We took on this financial risk because the city needs it.
We will be recommending Edgemoor.
We remember the newsmakers.
I'm also very aware of the magnitude of the work ahead of us.
23 years in prison for a crime he did not commit.
I'm excited. I can't really, on the inside, I'm bubbling over.
There are the people we lost.
Kansas City, Major League Baseball, and an entire country are mourning the loss of one of the game's bright young stars.
And what about this new year just around the corner? Stay with us as we prognosticate over what's in store in 2018 for this city we call home.
Week in Review is made possible through the generous support of Dave and Jamie Cummings, Smithfield Foods, Haas and Wilkerson Insurance, Bank of America, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello again, I'm Nick Haynes. Get ready for laughter, tears, astonishing insight, and heartwarming stories. Yes, it is the highlight of the public television calendar. And no, we're not showing a Downton Abbey Christmas special. This is even better. We're pouring through the last 12 months here in our metro in quiz show style. With us on this special holiday edition of the program, she is 50% of Dana and Parks on KMBZ, Dana Wright. Across town, Steve Kraske sits behind another microphone, keeping you up to date 11 to noon weekdays on KCUR-FM. Whenever important local news is happening, you can expect Kansas City Star columnist and editorial writer Dave Helling to be in the middle of the action, and also around the cozy confines of our Yuletide table. On call from the call, Eric Wesson. Steve Kraske, we begin with a multiple choice question.
Yes, we do.
For you. Of all the stories making news in Kansas City over the past year, which story had the greatest impact on our metro? Was it the fact that we recorded the highest number of homicides in 23 years? Was it B, the vote to approve a new single terminal at KCI? Was it the Olathe bar shooting that made global headlines? Was it the devastation from the historic flooding, not once, but actually twice this summer? Or E, something completely different?
Well, the answer, Nick, is E, and you're going to groan. 2/3 of our audience is going to groan when I say this, but I'm going to go with it anyway. The inauguration of Donald Trump, I think, was the dominant story here. I've never seen the impact of a politician nationally or locally that has had this kind of influence on everyone. Everyone's talking about him every day. They're nervous about him, what he's doing, what's he going to do next. It's water cooler conversation every day. Donald Trump's the story of the year.
Dana Wright, what did you put down?
I said the sexual harassment scandal that has rocked the media, Hollywood. I think, and here's why, it will change things going forward, I believe, for men in the workplace here, everywhere, and for women in the workplace and beyond, and how they feel empowered to respond when these things happen.
Now, this has been mainly a national story.
Yeah.
We're now going to start to see this play out on a local basis?
I think so, too. I think around every water cooler in every office, people are saying, okay, let's think back about my own behavior. What could I have done better? What could I have done differently? And women are starting to say, this has happened to me, #MeToo. What would I have done differently? And moving forward, I think there's an empowerment now to raise your hand and say, the guy in the back office is pantsless, please come help me. I think there's an empowering kind of in the numbers for women to come forward now and say enough.
Eric.
I brought mine local, and I said KCI, voting that in with the margin of victory that it got, and the GO bonds. Another large margin of victory for those. Progress in the city. It looks like people are trying to move into the 21st century in some areas. airport especially, even though they threw us a curveball with this thing with Edgemoor now. But I picked those two as the top stories.
Dave.
Yeah, and I said the $800 million bond issue as well in terms of long-term impact, not only because it will bring needed improvements to the infrastructure in Kansas City, but it's a vote of confidence in City Hall, and it suggests that voters are willing to raise their own taxes. Remember, this was a property tax increase if they feel the end result is what they want. And so I think part of that is the Trump factor, frankly. I think local governments are saying, no, we're going to have to do things that the federal government used to do, and that $800 million vote proves it.
Dana Wright, complete this sentence for us. The news story Kansas City would most like to forget in 2017 was blank.
Oh, my goodness, the airport and who is building it. I am so sick and tired of hearing it. And I thought we were done with this. And now this week, apparently, we're not done with it.
Helen keeps writing about it.
Here's what I'll say. Quit writing about it. The casual Kansas City traveler never wanted this in the first place. And so even on our program, it's in our stack every day, something new about the airport. And I'll say to Scott, I don't want to talk about the airport. And here we are still talking about the airport.
Eric.
I said Frank White and the riff with him in the county legislature. That's kind of getting old, and it seems like it's a never-ending saga.
It's not going away.
It's not going away, and he keeps Caleb on the staff, and that's the conflict between everybody at the county is his chief of staff, and I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing about it.
Dave, what did you most like to forget in 2017?
Well, I think the story that Kansas Cityans are trying to forget are the problems at the Jackson County Jail, which are real. They are growing. They're expensive to fix, and they could end in great tragedy if they're not addressed. And yet, every time we write about the jail in the newspaper, and we can now track how many people read about it and care about it, and it just isn't very high. And so I think Kansas Cityans want to forget about the problem. In 2018, they may not be able to.
Steve.
Nick, I picked that Olathe bar shooting early in the year. You know, some viewers might know that I teach over at UMKC, and I'm constantly struck by the number of international students who talk about this and how their perceptions of Kansas City and our region have changed. A lot of those students have left, and it's a tragedy that lingers in the minds of so many.
And really, that was the story probably when you think about the worldwide community.
Absolutely.
That probably got more attention on Kansas City than any other in the year 2017.
Yeah.
Eric Wesson, a multiple choice question for you. Time magazine picked the women who have broken the silence over sexual harassment and assault as their collective Person of the Year. If you were asked to pick the Person of the Year in our area, who would you be picking? Would it be the face of Kansas City, Sly James, the man who has never been out of the headlines all year, new Missouri Governor Eric Greitens? Would it be Lamont McIntyre from Kansas City, Kansas, who spent 23 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit and has brought a renewed spotlight on criminal justice reform? Could it be Ian Grillett, who intervened to stop the gunman at Austin's Bar and Grill, which Time magazine, by the way, named as one of the 5 heroes that gave us hope in 2017? Or Marcus Peters? He was one of the big newsmakers of the year. Does he deserve the cover, or did you pick someone completely different?
I went with McIntyre. Just spend 23 years of your life just taken away from you, and then kind of have the positive mentality that he had, because I would be quite, I don't know if I can say peed on the radio, or TV rather, but I would be, and I would want some revenge, and then not be able to get any financial
Zero compensation for all of that
doing
time.
it. I think in him still being positive, I think that's great. I think that's great.
Did it really, though, bring about a conversation about criminal justice reform?
It should.
I think so.
And will going forward. I mean, it's not over yet. That conversation continues.
Because there are other examples of people being falsely incarcerated like that as well.
I think like with the Jackson County Jail, when people hear, well, there are people in jail or people in prison for these things and they didn't do it, there's a certain, people tend to not pay attention to that stuff. He forced us to pay attention. 23 years stolen from this man for something he did not do. And then the state of Kansas comes out and says, we're not going to pay you a dime. He would be better off in prison. He would have his meals paid for. He would have his education paid for. He'd have access to a gym. They cut these people loose after stealing 2 decades and say, good luck. He didn't even get $20. And we have to change that. When a mistake is made, he is owed something with a whole lot of zeros at the end of it. And right now, that's just not the case for any of these people.
Now, was he your person of the year?
He was my person of the year, because I think it's important that we really take a look at that system. Other states pay you. California, I believe, pays you $100. Is it a day or a week for every day you were wrongfully
Lots of other states handle
in prisons? A lot of states do that. We are sorry here. And not that money can give back the time that was stolen, but to give that man nothing is astounding to me.
Your pick for Person of the Year, Steve, was who?
I picked somebody different, Nick. I picked Mayor Sly James. I thought he had a terrific year. Not always smooth, but we ask our politicians to use their political capital and put themselves out there. Mayor James did it for the GO bond issue that Dave Helling has already cited. He put it out there for the airport vote. He was the face of those campaigns. He got them passed. A very strong performance from our mayor, even though, again, it was a year that was not always smooth for him.
And he ends, though, with a lot of prickly arguments over the airport. You can still take back your choice, Steve.
But he's on the right side of that issue, and I suspect they're going to work this thing out in favor of Edgemoor, but we'll see.
Dave Helling, your Person of the Year was who?
I had three.
No, there's only room on this cover for one. Okay.
They're all, the theme will win.
Okay, all right.
Steve Glorioso.
Yes.
James Nutter. And Neil Patterson.
Yes.
All three passed away this year. All three men who disagreed on politics a lot, nevertheless changed Kansas City directly and for decades. James Nutter, of course, is one of the great lenders in Kansas City. Steve Glorioso, my friend and a consultant for many years. And then Neil Patterson with Cerner passed away, and Cerner has changed Kansas City. And sometimes we need to pause and remember that it isn't just the mayor, it isn't just the congressman, it isn't just the governor. It is people working hard to make Kansas City a better place. All three did, and all deserve to be remembered as persons of the year.
Well, you get the next question, Dave, first,
make me
and that
follow
is a fill in the blank. The biggest winner in Kansas City this year is blank.
I think the biggest surprise winner is supporters of the East Side sales tax. I think most people thought that was not going to fly in April. It was sort of an add-on at the last minute, brought, by the way, by petition signatures. And voters said yes. Even some voters north of the river, which are typically suspicious of anything south of the river, and sales taxes voted yes. Now, we haven't seen if it's worked yet, and we haven't seen evidence of this money going to good purposes, but it is surprising and a winning thing that tax passed, in my opinion.
Eric, the biggest winner for you?
The biggest winner for me would have to be Sly James, because as Steve has said earlier, he's gotten a lot of things accomplished that you probably wouldn't get accomplished in that. The GO bonds, the airport, and his positive view and trying to move the city forward. I think that's commendable.
You didn't also put him in your biggest winner category, did you,
I
Steve?
did not, and this might sound a little hokey, but I'm going to go with this anyway, Nick. I think it's the citizens of this community. I think Kansas City is on a roll like it hasn't been in a very long time. More momentum than we've seen perhaps in generations around here. It's a great time to live here. Downtown is booming. The arts community is on fire. East Side development shows unusual promise. Not to say that we don't have enormous challenges when it comes to race and poverty and violent crime, of course. But having said all that, this is a really good time to be living in Kansas City, and we shouldn't forget that.
I said Sly James for all the reasons mentioned, plus the streetcar, which I said in the very beginning was the dumbest idea that I had ever heard in my entire life, and I am happy to say I was wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioning David Alvey, who beat Mark Holland as the mayor of Wyandotte County.
Yeah, but the show isn't over. We may have to bring that up
we have
later.
lots of time. Steve Kraske, complete the sentence, if you would, then, with the name of an individual, a group, an issue, or an institution. The biggest loser in Kansas City in 2017 is blank.
I got two, Nick. Mike Sanders, the former Jackson County executive, who's now facing accusations of a kickback scheme. It's the worst image that people have of politicians. Mike had so much promise. There's so much disappointment wrapped around him. The other
But he hasn't been charged with anything
yet. He
yet.
has not been charged yet, but he's obviously under intense investigation right now. We'll see where that goes. I think the other big loser in our community this year was the jazz community in the wake of the overspending on the Jazz Festival. Jazz has been knocked down a few notches, and as a big jazz guy, I hate to see that.
Okay, the show isn't over, Dave. Who did you put?
Sam Brownback. Governor Sam Brownback in Kansas. He lost in the override of his veto of a tax bill. He still lingers as a nominee by the Trump administration and can't even get a vote in a Republican Senate. He lost on Tonganoxie. He tried to bring Tonganoxie, the Tyson Company, to Tonganoxie. Yeah. Tonganoxie booted him out in about 72 hours. You know, for reasons large and small. Governor Brownback just had a very, very poor year.
Dana, who did you put down as the
Mike
biggest
Sanders.
loser?
I said Mike Sanders as well. Just a stunning development. And you know, one of the things I said on our show is no one would have known more than Mike, if true, how illegal those activities would have been, and the punishment and the ramifications of the alleged decisions that were made. If true, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in 2018.
Eric Wesson.
The residents and businesses in the east side that the streetcar would have turned and went down. I was talking to some of the business owners along the route that the streetcar is going. They're claiming that they're making more money now than they've ever made. And that economic shot in the arm would have been very, very helpful for the area around Linwood, from Maine to Linwood. When you drive through there, you see nothing, vacant lots, empty buildings. So I think they lost by not having confidence in the ability to have economic development in those areas.
Dana Wright, fill in the blank question for you. The most over-reported story in our metro in 2017 was blank.
You know, I say this, and I don't mean this to be mean in any way.
No, of course not.
I'm going to say it was the homicide rate, and here's why. We do a very good job in the media of reporting each individual death, the crime scene tape, the candle vigils that we do. We do a very poor job, in some cases, overall, of getting to the root cause of why this is happening. We heard the new police chief say, we have got to get a handle on this. He's not the first person to say that. He's certainly not going to be the last person to say that. We need to do a better job of figuring out why this is happening and how to move forward to help solve. We have an image problem here as well with respect to the crime rate in Kansas City. That affects everybody.
Eric?
Oh, the question was
the most over-reported story in 2017, according to Eric Wesson.
Anything Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump, he tweeted today, he spelled the words wrong with the tweets. Donald Trump combed his hair today. I'm just Donald Trumped out.
Dave Helling?
I wrote an over-reported story was the eclipse. I mean, all we did was talk about the eclipse over and over. Here's the deal. The moon goes over the sun and casts its shadow on parts of the country. That's worth a story, and people were excited. It wasn't worth second coming live shots and all the other stuff. It was a little over-reported.
Thank you. I picked the KCI debacle only because it was all so unnecessary, Nick. This notion that the city council and the mayor, whom I just lauded a few minutes ago, was prepared to give a no-bid contract to Burns and Mac was a huge mistake, and it resulted in just months and months of turmoil that we didn't need around here.
Okay, Eric, complete this sentence. The most underreported story of the year was blank.
The hotel, the downtown hotel.
You thought it was underreported?
Yeah, what's really the issue? I'm still trying to figure out, is it too much money? What's the real issue?
Okay,
Get to the
Dana
issue.
Wright?
Underreported, we just saw the most traffic fatalities in Kansas City since 1979.
Yes.
Put your phones down, people. Number one. Also, number two, really quick, Missouri just very quietly started allowing doctors to practice in the state without any residency requirement whatsoever with respect to going through that type of training. Pay attention to that in 2018. Missouri is the first state to do it, and they're saying this is the way we're going with healthcare. There aren't enough doctors in underserved populations, so let's start letting in men and women who have not completed their residency to be doctors in the state of Missouri.
Steve Kraske, what did you put down as the most underreported story of 2017?
Racism in Kansas City, Nick, and how are we going to dispose of the Troost Wall? It's an issue that we just don't want to wrestle with to any significant degree in this community. We've got to get there at some point. There are opportunities coming up down the road in terms of redistricting and spreading districts horizontally in the city that would include east and west side residents in the same district. Maybe that's something we need to think about. It's the story that we just don't want to touch.
Dave.
I put down the impact of federal tax reform, which is now going to pass even as we sit here today. The impact of federal tax reform on state tax revenues, particularly in Missouri. There's a great concern that because Missouri bases at least part of its income tax structure on the federal form, that the state could lose hundreds of millions of dollars and have to cut a lot of spending. So, and I don't think we really have a good grasp on that. That's why I think it's been underreported.
Steve Kraske, our next section is called Pick a Gift. It sounds simple enough, doesn't it? You are responsible for giving a gift to one metro area public figure this holiday season, but who would receive the gift? And when he or she hastily breaks open the wrapping paper, what would the gift be?
Well, I picked flashlights, Nick, for the 9 members of the City Council who went behind the scenes back door to take a move and pull that contract away from Edgemoor last week. We need a lot more transparency when it comes to our good friends on the City Council. We didn't see a lot of it with that maneuver.
Dana, what gift have you got and who is it going to?
I want to gift Kansas City the Amazon headquarters. Oh, we're in the running, right?
That's a big, lots of wrapping paper.
That's what my husband keeps saying, honey. Like, you can hope.
Yeah.
That's my gift.
Eric.
The crew here on Weekend Review.
Oh, don't get me teary. Yeah.
E.L. Weston necktie.
Thank
we
you.
see 2 of them have it. We're going to work on this guy here.
You got him. And we're blessed for them. Thank you so much.
And I'll give Dana one to give to Chris.
Okay.
All right. Wear that on TV. I'm with Brother Kraske. I want to get a big sheet of glass for every elected official in Kansas and Missouri. The key word in 2018 is obviously going to be transparency. We don't care what you do as long as there's an open, fair, equitable process for reaching your decision. And, you know, Eric Greitens has a problem with this. The state of Kansas, well documented in the Star, has a problem with this. Your Kansas City Council has a problem with this. The Johnson County Commission launched its administrator for reasons that remain murky, to say the least. You know, elected officials have got to learn, have to learn, that if they're going to make decisions in the public's name, they have to do it openly, fairly, and completely, and they haven't learned that yet.
All right, let's look now to the start of this brand spanking new year. Dana Wright, complete this sentence. I don't own a crystal ball, but if I did, this is what I'd see happening in our metro in 2018.
I said more money for schools and more money for the jail, which is something I think that's already been discussed, has to be addressed in this coming year.
Steve Kraske.
Nick, Kansans are going to elect a Democratic governor in 2018, and that governor is going to be the only woman candidate in the field, a Democrat. Her name is Laura Kelly. She's a state senator from Topeka, widely respected. Look out for her.
So you're not saying the renaming of the J.C. Nichols Fountain, which was one of your big pushes in 2017, is going to happen in 2018?
We're going to continue that push. We're getting closer to it, but it's still have a little more work to do.
All right. Dave Helling, your prediction for 2018 is going to happen?
A little bit out on a limb, but I think, first of all, I think the Royals are going to be competitive. We'll see. But the other thing is...
No, they're not.
I know. That's why it's out on a limb. Well, you know, I have some courage that Brother Kraske simply doesn't. But the other thing is, I think voters in Kansas City may reject the capital improvement sales tax on the April ballot. And I think they'll do so to send a signal to City Hall that you can't do all this stuff secretly, and here's a message we can send.
What are you seeing in your crystal ball for 2018, Eric Wesson?
That Parade Park, one of the nation's oldest co-op communities, gets developed by the same people that built the stadium next to it, so that all of that is connected, the baseball academy, so that it's all connected and looks nice and pretty.
Okay, cool. Next up then, a lightning fast true or false round before the buzzer blows. True or false, in 2018, Sam Brownback will still be governor of Kansas?
True, when the year begins.
Okay.
No, I think it's true for the whole year, and I'll tell you why. The fact that he hasn't been confirmed tells you that the problem is with Republicans in the Senate. It isn't with Democrats. They have a majority. Sam's in big trouble with people of his own party. I think he stays.
But they've been preoccupied with taxes and government shutdowns.
They could do Brownback in about 10 minutes if they just wanted to do it, and they don't.
True or false, Chris Kobach is elected governor of Kansas?
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
No, you have to say false because you just said somebody else. Laura Kelly, the Democrat.
I don't think he'll be the nominee of the Republican Party. I think he will lose in the primary.
No.
All right, true or false? Kansas City Council dumps Edgemoor and picks a new KCI design team.
False.
I don't care.
False.
Just build it. I don't care. I don't care. Just build it.
All righty. On true or false? On February 4th, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis.
False.
True.
Oh,
True.
You see, it's a community-minded person.
I'm feeling it. They're going.
All righty. True
I'm
or
back
false?
on the bandwagon.
Claire McCaskill wins re-election to the U.S. Senate.
I think true. I think true, because I think 2018 will be a Democratic wave year, not because necessarily she's considered a better candidate than Josh Hawley.
Yeah.
True. Oh, I agree with my brother.
True.
True or false? Kansas Congressman Kevin Yoder loses his bid for re-election.
I said false. I think he will win. It'll be narrow. Now, if there's a wave, Democratic wave, he may be in trouble, but I think he's going to eke by.
I think Kevin Yoder's going to lose. I think he's the most endangered incumbent in the metro as we head into 2018.
All righty. True or false? The Jackson County Jail breaks ground, well, the Jackson County rather breaks ground on a new state-of-the-art jail.
True.
You think it's going to happen?
Yeah. They're going to have to.
I think it's false, only because it's going to take more than a year to figure out how to pay for it, where it's going to go, and all the other stuff. So groundbreaking probably won't take place in 2018.
Next December.
All right, true or false? Kansas City
and everyone will be wearing Eric's ties.
There
on
you
a
go.
streetcar expansion line to the plaza and on to UMKC.
True, and the city will be thrilled with it, Nick.
And so will Dana Wright, who didn't like it to begin with.
Get me to Brookside. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we are out of time. Well, we've done it, ladies and gentlemen. We did a whole year and looked at next year, all in 26 minutes and 46 seconds. Thank you for being such terrific guests.
And Merry Christmas to
Yes,
everybody.
she is 50% of Dana and Parks, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 98.1 KMBZ, Dana Wright, and every day in the Kansas City Star, Dave Helling. From the pages of the Kansas City Call newspaper, Eric Wesson, and from behind the microphone at KCUR, where he hosts up-to-date weekdays from 11 to noon, Steve Kraske, and I'm simply your host, Nick Haynes. From all of us here at KCPT, where we're decking the halls with boughs of holly, Merry Christmas. we'll see you in the new year, and because some people get very upset if I don't say it, thanks for spending part of your weekend with us.